Hi and welcome to this third tutorial. Today we will take a look at the ColorChanger driver, which is part of the Domaudeo DMX solution for Control4. The ColorChanger is a unique driver that allows you to control a single or a group of RGB light with the full capability of color changing and white management, all by presenting only a single dimmer to the user. It also easily binds to a Control4 keypad to offer the simplest way to control RGB lights. As you may already know, RGBW stands for red, green, blue, and white, which is a color changing light with the addition of a pure white channel. Our solution fully supports this type of lighting and can also use an external light as the white portion using the white override feature. For more information about the white override feature, please watch our tutorial number 2 about group dimmer and white override. For our example, again we will use the same demo room with 10 group of RGB lights and 3 group of white light, not all DMX. We will control all the light in the room using a single keypad and a single element page in the Composer Navigator. First, we need to add and configure a color changer in our demo project. So, to add the driver, click on the search field and look for Domaudeo and add the RGB ColorChanger driver. Now let's check the properties. The first properties define the group type and channel the exact same way as the RGB group dimmer driver. Those properties are deeply explained in the previous tutorial about group dimmer driver. So in our case, the group is sequential. We have 10 fixtures, all with 3 channels, and the first channel for red is 100, the second is 101, and the third is 102. Then we have the white channels field. Here you will enter all the DMX channels that are connected to white lights in the room. It can also be the white channel from an RGBW fixture. Those channels will be used as the white light in the room and will never turn on at the same time as the color. Note that the white channels field is only for DMX white light and you don't need to add another independent DMX dimmer for those channels. If you have any other kind of white fixture, you will need to use the white override feature. So in our case, we will enter 91 and 92 as the white channel. So we click set. And if the channel input is validated, it will be surrounded by square bracket. Next, we have the palette property that defines the color range that will be produced by the driver. Rainbow will produce all color from purple to red. Cold will range from green to blue. Hot is red to yellow. And custom will allow you to enter up to 12 personalized color. Custom color input need to be entered by using the RGB value from a range of 1 to 255, separate by comma. So for our demo, let's use the rainbow palette. So right now we have enough properties configured to have the driver to work. Let's try it by opening the dimmer control and start playing with it. As you can see, the color in the room change depending of the level of the dimmer. We can get the whole rainbow palette rendered as the dimmer level is changed. Then if we turn off the dimmer and change the palette to cold, and do the same test. We got some bluish, greenish color to be rendered in the room, depending of the level of the dimmer. Same for hot. Now we got some red to yellow color, the same control type. Okay, the next setting is the default color. This defines the color used when the light turns on. Last used will resume the same color as previously set when the light was last turned on. But you can also force any of the palette color or use any of the white load to be the default color when the light turns on. The next properties are level 0 and 100 action. Those define what to do when the dimmer is at level 0 or 100. For 0, we can either turn off the light or use the first palette color, so the light will not turn off. We only use the first color of the defined palette. In our case, let's set that to off. The level 100 action is something similar, but it will allow the use of the white channels or the white override to be the action when the dimmer hit a level of 100. For example, let's set the action to the white DMX channel. So in that case, when the dimmer will hit level 100, it will turn on the white DMX channel that are set here. Let's try it. So this is now white. And if I change the level action to the last palette color and I go back to my dimmer control, turn it on, it's now yellow because this is the last color of the palette. In rainbow, it will be something else like purple, so that makes sense. And using the white DMX channel, bring back white. Now we will bind this color changer driver to a Control4 keypad using only one regular button plus the up and down button of the keypad. So the layout is like that. We got one main button for color and white control and the up and down button that will make the color changing much easier. So the binding goes as follows. The toggle button link need to be connected to the main button of the keypad. Then the up and down button link need to be connected to up and down button of the keypad, like that. Note that the up and down button link is nothing like the usual up and down feature you'll get when binding a Control4 dimmer to a keypad. Those buttons will get a whole new use and we will demonstrate it. So let's check how the keypad reacts. So if we turn on the main button, we got our white that turns on. And now let's hit the down button. And now we get all the color from the palette, which is rainbow. I can scroll through all color. And if I hit up, it's still change the color, but from the other side. I can also press and hold the down button and then the color change smoothly from all the palette color we define. Same from up. and if I press and hold the main button, I can dim the exact color I've done, and click the button again, it turns off. And if I click back the button, it goes back to white, because this is the default action we configure in the property. So this is very useful if you get in the room and press the wall button to turn on the white light. You just have to hit the main button, and if you want to change the room color, you just have to hit the up and down button of the keypad, and you get the control over all the color. Let's see how it looks in the real world. So this is the real Control4 keypad binded to our ColorChanger driver. This is the only one ColorChanger driver for the whole room. So if we click on the top button, the light turns on white because the default color was set to a white DMX channel. If we want to change the color, we just have to use the up and down button, just like that. And we get all the palette color. If we push the down button and hold, we have the color that scroll to all palette color. And if we click on the main button again, the light turns off and goes back to white. That leaves us 3 spare buttons to add, for example, color effect or anything you want. So you don't waste a whole keypad just for color control in a room.
Now for the Control4 Navigator, take a look at the iPad app. The color changer appears just like a regular dimmer, but it's all but that. If I click the slider, the light turns on white, just like with the keypad. If I play with the slider, you see the color to change lively following the slider. If I bring the slider to 100, the light turns white, same for level 0. The light turns off. At any time, I click back the toggle button and I bring back the white. Now, let's go back to the project and change some settings. We will set the level 0 action to first palette color. And the level 100 action to last palette color. Now going back to the app, when we touch the slider, I've got the color to turns on, and even if I put the slider to 100, the light still use the last palette color, and I can go to 0 and the light does not turn off. It just uses the first palette color. Back again to the project. Let's try the white override feature using our halogen light. So we need to select the white override load here. So we select halogen, click OK and set. We will also change the default action to white override and the level 100 action to white override. We'll revert the level 0 action to off, just for the demo. Back to the app, let's try the control. If I hit the toggle button, the light turns off, as expected. If I hit the toggle button again, we see the halogen to turn on because this is the default action. But we can still change the color using the slider, and the halogen will turn off automatically, as you can see. I can play with the slider as many times as I want, and the color will change. But if we put the slider to 100, the color turns off and the halogen turns on. This is by design, and it's very useful to avoid a lot of programming when dealing with a room that has RGB and white lighting that use different fixtures. So that's it for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed and join us for the next tutorial about the FX switch. Thanks for watching.